Some Calgarians are going to war on Wednesday night, and their weapons are paintbrushes, welding tools, clay, or a simple needle and thread. Artists are given 2 hours to create a masterpiece from one random idea. It's called Gorilla House Live Art. Rich Tayru organizes the art battles and joins us now to tell us more. Hi, Rich.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thanks. Now, this art battle all starts with a random idea. How do you go about choosing that idea?
So there's 3 random ideas. We spin a wheel. I think I pulled it out of somebody's cupboard, and we have about 10 books. Sometimes boxes, sometimes one of the boxes is built by my 10-year-old that's got, zombies in it or something.
Of course.
So we spin the wheel at 7 o'clock, and we get 3 random ideas, and then we paint for 2 hours, and then the auction's at 9:45.
So zombies are involved, thanks to a 10-year-old. What are some of the other random ideas that have come so far?
We haven't come across zombies yet. It's still in the box.
Oh.
Last week, we had bicycles. We've had, and there's usually three strung together. So I think it was bicycles. Could have been a girl who loves someone else, and the balance of color out of a textbook or something like that. So we get these random ideas, and we got to just cram them all in.
Yeah. So you have these concepts.
Yeah.
Out they come, and off the artists go. So what kind of art are people able to come up with and make in just 2 hours?
Oh, 2 hours is plenty. I'd say most of us are painting. We had a welder in the back. We've had people sewing. We've had somebody make dolls. I'd love to get a photographer in. I can imagine him running in, getting the wheel, taking off. He'd have an hour to shoot and an hour to develop and be back for the auction. We had a fella come in and he recorded a song. So what he did was he took his 2 hours, he went down to the basement, auctioned off the rights to the song, the lyrics to the song, all the song at the end, and eventually, a couple of days later, burned a MP3 for the owner.
And all of that in 2 hours?
2 hours, yeah.
What happens to the art after the 2 hours is up?
Well, that's when we have the auction. 9:45, we have an auction, and the crowd comes in. I think we've only ever had 1 or 2 pieces that don't get sold. So that all just flies out the door.
Yeah, so it's definitely not a silent auction.
No.
What does the process look like?
It's pretty wild. We talked in the beginning, do we want to have paddles? But it's always been, part art gallery, part art studio, and part party. So it's, people are screaming, and well, not screaming, but yelling. For sure.
Well, there's a lot of excitement in the room, yeah. I'm sure. So how much does the art typically go for?
When artists come in and they're new, some of the pieces have sold as low as $30. And then sometimes we've had pieces sell between $2 and $3. I think the highest piece so far is $375.
Not bad for 2 hours work.
Yeah, and we've only been going for 8 battles. So our first battle, we didn't have an audience. We sold to each other. And our second battle, we had about 70 people. And they've been kind of almost doubling every week.
And where does the money go?
Well, half the money goes to the artist and half the money goes to keeping the gallery open.
So you mentioned that the crowds are growing for this.
Yeah.
What's the response been like so far from the artistic community? Who's showing up typically?
We have 8... It's funny. We have 8 main artists. We call them the Prime 8, which is a little silly when you're talking about the gorillas. We have the Oilman's Review, so there's another 3 that come with us all the time. We've got about 5 locals that we pull in, so there's about 15 to 20 that come with us. And then I'd say lately there's been another 5 to 10 people just showing up with canvases under their arms, right at the bell.
So the word is spreading then?
It has been, yeah.
And I mean, 2 hours, that seems like a lot of pressure, but you say that's plenty of time. Based on what?
Well, you see,
is that something that artists are? When I envision artists, I think of them, grinding over a painting or a piece for a long period of time, being inspired and stepping away from it. And does this get the creative juices flowing a little quicker?
We're taught to suffer. We're taught to believe that we're supposed to be in a dark cave, hidden away, and suffering by ourselves. And what happens when we do that is we get separated from the viewer. We create the artwork by ourselves. We drop it off at the gallery, and the gallery deals with the viewer. So what we wanted to do is put the artist back in a gallery situation. And what comes about is that the viewers come in and they're right on us when we're painting, and we love it because we get to interact, we get to feed off them. So what we lose in quiet, and to an extent it's almost like we're really exposed. We're really exposed while we're working. The
And that
time
must
is
be intimidating too, though, because I mean, do you take a look and you see the furrowed brow here and there, and you
No.
think, maybe I should do that.
no, it's very. We love it. It's just like getting a big hug while you're painting.
And are the people who are watching, are they quiet, or
no,
are
it's
they
just a wild people.
are they
tipping
yelling
things.
out colors? Hey, how about some blue? Why try? But I mean, what?
I had this lovely lady. I was painting Charles Bukowski, and I had this lovely lady ask me to get rid of the bottle, and I had about 15 minutes left. So I thought, well, I got lots of time, and I painted out the bottle, and I thought I can make this, and then I realized that my paint wasn't drying quickly enough, and I ended up replacing the bottle. And I think, no, she didn't end up buying it. Somebody outbid her, but I think they felt like they should buy it because I changed my painting for them. But honestly, it's, we're serious artists and we paint in the studio all week long. And then when we come to the battles, we just let go. And sometimes the work we do at the battles is more amazing than what happens in the regular time.
How do you see this evolving?
Oh, I have no idea. To tell you the truth, we made a business plan and it was yay big, and then we opened the doors and it just exploded. And it's really organic. It's we're mapping what's working, because what we planned was a tenth of what we have now, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So we're tracking and adjusting rather than making decisions. It's growing on its own, and people have come and thanked me and said it was neat or what have you. And I don't feel like I created it. I feel like I'm in the middle of this giant beast that's growing on its own.
Does this give you a boost of creative energy, this kind of form?
Me, myself?
Yeah.
I have lots of creative energy.
What are you hearing from the other artists?
Well, Chan would be a great example. He was super shy. When I told him about the idea, his face just shut off. And I thought, well, I've lost this one. And within a second or so, the lights came back on, and he was really excited. And he's been one of my best artists ever since. He's in there first every night, setting up first every night. And every time we think of a way to make it harder, his face lights up again. So I think it's been really good to pull us out of our shells and put us out in the public.
Yeah. As you look at the 8 primary people that you have involved, are professionally trained artists, or what does the range look like? Are we talking about ACA graduates, or is it just an eclectic group of people who have a talent for art and like creating things under pressure?
What I would say is I have 8 artists that I've been picking over the last 10 years. And 1 or 2 of them are fairly recently graduated. Most of them are either graduated the year I graduated, almost 20 years ago, and the other half graduated the year Elijah graduated. Elijah Escalante is sort of my partner, and he pulled a bunch of guys out of his year as well. So I'd say that everybody's trained. We're all professional artists, and what we have in common is just a real love for what we're doing.
Do people make specific requests when they come in? Do they?
Sometimes, yeah.
How does that go over?
We love it.
Well, great.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a fascinating event and a lot of fun, too. Thanks for coming in, Rich.
Thank you.
Rich Theroux organizes an art battle every Wednesday night in Calgary. Artists start creating around 7:30, and you can bid on their finished pieces of art at 9:30. It happens at Gorilla House, which is located at 1503 15th Avenue Southwest.